It's Monday morning here in the beautiful city of Fulda in the state of Hesse, Germany, and we've reached the 6th and final episode of this little electric car road trip series. If you haven't seen the other episodes, you can start with the first one by clicking the link in the corner, and otherwise there's a link to all episodes in the description below. Today, the trip goes to Hamburg, and it will also be the last city we visit this time around, because tomorrow we'll drive the rest of the way home to Hørsholm in Denmark. But first, we need to finish our lovely breakfast, and then we'll get the car. We're almost ready to leave for Hamburg, so let's just go ahead and select our hotel in the navigation. As I mentioned in previous episodes, I've carefully saved all the hotels in Google Maps, so I can easily find and select them from the car's navigation system. Let's see what it says. It says that we need 2 charging stops. One stop will be at Ionity, and the other stop will be at Tesla. Then we should arrive with about 31% remaining. Now we'll see how much we actually end up charging. We might just have some lunch along the way. I'll press start, and then we just have to get going. We have arrived at our first charging stop, and for the first time, we actually experienced a charging queue, because all 4 chargers, there are only 4, were occupied when we arrived. But we just parked here and went in to use the restroom to see if we should possibly drive on and find another place to charge. But when we came back, well, a charger had already become available, so it didn't take many minutes to be able to start charging here. We started the day with 100% on the battery. I don't think I mentioned that we charged up in the parking garage, and it cost about 50 euro cents per kilowatt hour with Shell Recharge, so the cheapest AC charging so far. And at this stop, we've arrived with about 37 to 38% on the battery, so actually quite a lot. But now that we're here, we might as well get a good charge. So I just took another look at the rest of our route, because we only have 212 kilometers left to the hotel, and the car had actually planned one more charging stop. But since we already started here with 38%, we don't need to charge for a super long time to actually make it all the way to the hotel, and that way we can skip the extra charging stop. Right now, it says we'll arrive with negative 19%, and we have 49% on the battery. So if we just charge up to maybe 80, well, then we should actually be able to make it all the way to the hotel and thereby skip the extra charging stop. That's the smart thing about the car estimating the arrival state of charge, because it changes along the way while it's charging, so I can actually just charge and keep an eye on when it reaches maybe 5 to 10%, which is enough of a buffer for us, and then we can continue from there. It really shouldn't take much more than just about 15 minutes or 20 minutes at the very most, so now we'll go straight in and get something to eat, and then we should be able to drive straight to the hotel afterwards. Well, as usual, when we just need something to eat, it takes a little longer than expected, so we ended up charging for about 36 minutes and got all the way up to 90%, so now the car says we'll arrive at the hotel with 23%, which is more than enough. And we don't need to make an extra charging stop. Of course, I kept a close eye out for available chargers, especially when the car had reached about 80% charge, so that we wouldn't block other drivers who might need to use a charger more urgently. But there have actually been several available chargers since we arrived, so we may have just been a bit unlucky to arrive at a time when all the chargers were full, because they haven't been since. Now, let's continue to Hamburg. We finally reached Hamburg. We arrived with just over 30% battery remaining, so once again, the car's estimate was, as expected, fairly conservative with room for a small margin of error. But it's okay because then you're sure that you don't come up short by relying on its calculations. We parked our car in a parking garage right next to the hotel, but unfortunately, there are currently no charging stations available in there. However, since we will be staying here both tonight and for most of tomorrow, I expect that after we have finished our breakfast, we will drive straight out of the hotel and look for a charging station somewhere in town, where we can charge the car all the way up to 100%. This way, we will be able to make the entire journey home with just a single charging stop tomorrow afternoon. It's Tuesday afternoon and we're getting ready to say goodbye to the city of Hamburg and head back toward our home in Hørsholm. As you can see, I'm currently standing in a parking garage, and that's because we've actually decided to let the car stay parked in this parking garage since yesterday. We skipped our original plan, which was to find a city charger. Simply because we still have 32% on the battery, so we can easily reach a fast charger outside the city, and the 15 to 20 minutes we might need to charge there, well, we would probably have spent more time driving around town to connect to a city charger and then move the car to a regular parking spot afterwards where it could stay until we had to leave. When I enter our home address into the car's navigation, it tells me that we need to have 2 charging stops along the way. I expected that too. One before the ferry and then one on the other side at Maribo. But for some reason, the car insists on choosing a fast charger just on the outskirts of Hamburg, not many kilometers away, and we have plenty of charge to reach further than that. I then thought that I had found an easy way where I could replace that charger, because there is actually a button in the navigation called Replace, and it allows me to move the map and then search in the area where I would like to charge. I can also select a charger, and I can select Choose this stop or choose this destination. But then, for some inexplicable reason, it just goes back and chooses the one that is not very far away. Very, very strange. It doesn't seem like that's how it's supposed to work. But now I have instead just manually selected a supercharger, which is located a little further away from Hamburg, and we should be able to get there with about 10% battery left. As you have seen, the car is generally quite conservative in its range and energy consumption estimates. So that should be more than enough to reach our destination without any issues. We have reached our first charging stop of the day, here at this Tesla version 3 supercharger. And yes, just as I predicted, we arrived with a little more than 10%. We ended up arriving with 12%, but actually, on the way out of town, the car showed that we would arrive with as little as 6%. Just to say that you should take things easy and not stress too much, because it may well change a little along the way. Actually, on this entire trip, we've always ended up arriving with a little more than the original estimate. It's nice to have a car where you can count on its calculations so you can just drive on. When I went in and chose our final destination at our home in Hørsholm, the car calculated that we should charge here for a total of 46 minutes, and then I could drive all the way to Ionity near Greve and just charge there for a quick top up. But actually, we want to stay here for as short a time as possible so that we can get down and catch the earliest possible ferry. So instead, I manually went in and selected the Tesla supercharger that is located shortly after the ferry, which was the one the car originally suggested to use as our second stop. The car still wants me to charge here for a while, but I can manually remove this charger from the route planning and instead just wait for the percentage on our state of charge when we get to the next charger to reach a level that I like. It starts out at -25%, and that's of course because we only have 12% on the battery. But I don't have to charge for half an hour or however long. I can really just keep an eye on the arrival stage of charge and wait until it shows that we will arrive at Maribor with about 10%. That way, we'll have enough of a buffer to make sure we can get there without any issues. So that's what we'll do now. In the meantime, we'll see if we can get a quick lunch or something to eat. And then, when we leave, we just head straight for the ferry to Denmark. With the time I just spent recording this little video here and then buying a cup of coffee, well, 20 minutes passed, and now the car says that we will arrive with 20% at the Tesla supercharger in Maribor. So that is more than enough. If I hadn't had to film and all that, well, we could have left here even earlier. But now we have plenty of charge to reach where we're going. So now it's just straight down to the ferry at Puttgarden. We have arrived here at Tesla's supercharger in Maribor. It's extremely windy, so I hope you can hear what I'm saying. It's definitely a lot colder here in Denmark. It took us a while to get on the ferry because there was roadworks going on over that little Fehmarn bridge. So we went on a bit of a sightseeing trip out in the German countryside. But despite that, we actually arrived here as we expected with 20% battery left. So what I've done now is that I've plotted our home address into the navigation system. Then, of course, it came up and said that I needed to have an extra charging stop along the way. I then did like before and removed that suggestion, and then the car estimated that I would arrive with -36 to 37% on the battery. So now I'll just have to wait and keep a close eye on the estimated arrival state of charge and keep charging until it comes up and says that we will arrive home with about 10%, because then we know that we can continue all the way home and that we have charged just enough to safely reach our final destination. Basically what I have done is the same I just did at the previous charging stop. So now I think I'll just get in the car and relax a bit while we get the last few kilowatt hours on the battery so we can get all the way home. We have now been charging for a total of 23 minutes while relaxing in the car, and at this point the car estimates that we will arrive home with 10%. So now I better stop the charging so we can get out of here. We made it all the way home to Hørsholm. We arrived here with 6% on the battery, so in this case, the car's original estimate was a little too optimistic, but then again, it was only off by 4%. That's why I like to charge it until it says we'll arrive with 10%, because then I know that there's at least that little bit of a buffer in case it doesn't calculate it quite right. And I've very rarely seen it be off by more than just a few percent one way or the other in either direction. Now, I'm going to head inside and get to bed, because it's gotten pretty late tonight. And tomorrow, well, I'll try to do a recap of the trip, add up how much we've actually charged in total and what it cost overall, and so on, just to give you a complete summary. But that'll have to wait until tomorrow after I've had some sleep and done the calculations. Unfortunately, I forgot to reset the car's trip meter before we left, so how far we've driven in total will be an estimate based on our route. Fortunately, since we only drove to and from the places we stayed overnight and didn't do any extra driving in the individual cities, I think it should be fairly accurate. According to Apple Maps, the route is 2,960 kilometers, but I can see that on the leg from Stresa to Memmingen, they've taken the shortest route. We actually took a slightly longer route when we left, so for simplicity's sake, I've said 3,000 kilometers in total. We've probably driven a little more, but I think that's close enough. As for the charging sessions, there are also a few unknowns. The charge in the parking garage in Fulda still hasn't registered fully in the Shell Recharge app, so I don't know exactly how much we charged or what it cost. But Based on our arrival state of charge and the price listed in the Shell Recharge app, well, I've estimated the number of kilowatt hours and the total price. In Stresa, we charged at the hotel. We already had around 70% on the battery, so that turned out to be a really bad deal because many hotels charge a flat rate for charging, and ours took no less than 35 euros. So that ended up costing about 2 euros per kilowatt hour. On the other hand, it was really convenient. If we had driven to a public charger instead, well, we probably would have saved at least 20 euro on that charge. Then our total price for the entire trip would have been 8% lower. Anyway, as it stands, we've charged for a total of about 280 euro. That means we've paid just over 9 euro cents per kilometre, or a bit lower if we had charged somewhere other than the hotel. Our total consumption has been about 582 kilowatt hours, so we end up with an average consumption of 19.4 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. Not amazing, but not terrible either, I think. And as I said, we've followed the speed limits up to 130 an hour, so we haven't driven any differently than we would have in a gasoline car. Except for that first stretch from the ferry to the manually selected charging stop. The average price for charging ended up at 48 euro cents per kilowatt hour. Again, if we hadn't charged at the hotel, but at a public charger, we would have ended up a bit lower. I'm very impressed with the car's navigation system. It has been quite accurate in estimating how much power we would use. And the times it has miscalculated significantly, it has always been in a positive direction, so we actually arrived with more power than expected. So the decision to just drive off without planning anything at all and just let the car handle everything, well, that was absolutely the right one. And it shows that with a good navigation system, it's very easy to go on a long trip in an electric car. Sometimes I've chosen something other than the car's suggestion because I thought I knew better or because it better suited our needs. But I could also have just followed the car's instructions 100%. In that case, I could also have just stuck to fast chargers for the whole trip and completely skipped the city chargers, which we actually did on some of the days. Then the total price would have been even lower, but on the other hand, we would have had some extra charging stops. Now, we had intentionally chosen not to drive that many kilometers each day, so it didn't matter much that we didn't start every morning with 100% on the battery. But what you choose, that's probably a matter of personal preference. But yes, you can save a little by only fast charging, but it's not that big of a deal either. I've tried to calculate what our total expenses would have been if we had only used fast chargers, by taking the average price for the fast chargers and multiplying it by the kilowatt hours we charged on the city chargers. And the savings would have been less than 50 euro for the entire trip. If I then take the expensive hotel charge out of the equation, well, then the savings are down to less than 30. So my recommendation would be to charge wherever it's most convenient in relation to your overnight stays. I hope you've enjoyed this series and that maybe it has encouraged you to go on a long trip in an electric car yourself if you haven't already. Unfortunately, there are still cars where the navigation doesn't work quite as well as Android Automotive with Google Maps, but luckily it's constantly improving. And if I were a car manufacturer, I would make that a top priority because it's precisely the software that makes a huge difference when you drive an electric car. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you in the next video.